Black privilege. Just this term will explode the heads of some moronic anti-white racists. But yes, black privilege is a thing, and it has been for decades. Affirmative action specifically discriminates against white people and gives jobs to black people because they're black. Same in universities, same all over the US. Now, I understand the reasons why affirmative action based on race came in. I completely disagree with it. I think if you're going to have affirmative action, it must be done for kids, and it should be done on poverty, not race. Because once you normalize out things like fatherlessness, your peers, whether you stay in school, race has very little to do with the underachievement of black people. Black people just have a bigger prevalence of problems like fatherlessness. So once you control that out, white people are just as fucked. Other races are just as fucked. They just have fatherlessness less often. So you should give affirmative action to kids based on poverty and fatherlessness, not based on race. But we live in a world where there is affirmative action, and it discriminates systemically in favour of black people. This is black privilege. Now, am I saying there's no discrimination against black people? No. You can have privilege, and you can be unprivileged in other ways. Or other people's privilege can trump yours. Yes, there are some racists. Yes, there are some issues with the criminal justice system being harsher on black people. Having said that, black people commit a lot more crime than any other race per head of population. 50% of murders are committed by black people. 14% of the population of the US. So black people are mostly overrepresented in the criminal justice system because they just commit a fucking huge amount of crime. But there are some anomalies around sentencing. So yeah, it can be a disadvantage to be black. But it can also be a huge advantage. I mean, do you think a white guy who did all the same stuff as Barack Obama would have got elected? There's no fucking way. And I'm talking about the world today. I'm not talking about the world 20 years ago. Things have changed a lot in the last 5, 10, 20 years. Barack Obama probably wouldn't have got elected 30 years ago. But the world has moved so fast, and it's unpicked racism so effectively that I think the Western world is now just racist against white guys. I mean, how often do you hear the criticism, oh, it's an old white male? Yes, what's your point? But is that supposed to be bad? But, oh, he's an old straight white male. He's a straight white man. He can't be a presidential candidate because Bloomberg's a straight white old man like Bernie Sanders. That's not bad. They didn't choose those things, and why would that make them bad? Like Newton was at one point an old straight white man. He was one of the greatest humans to ever lived. Many of the greatest humans to have ever lived were old straight white men. So fucking what? That's no better or worse than being an old gay black woman or a young gay black woman. No one gives a fuck. What do you stand for? What you're going to achieve? That's the only thing that should matter. Yet we live in a society where that is a quote unquote criticism that people say, and it never gets pushed back on. Almost no one ever says that's just fucking racist and fucking sexist to think, and ageist to think, old and straightist to think, orientationist to think being called a old straight white man is an insult. You're just a fucking bigot if you think that's an insult. You can just fuck off. Again, that's more black privilege. Black privilege is real, and again, I'm sure I've missed off some things there, but it's everywhere, and we should talk about it more. If we're going to talk about white privilege, we need to talk about these other types of privilege, and that's one.
This was the Deviant Developer Podcast. Tap subscribe in any podcast app to never miss an episode. To contact me or make a welcome donation, go to thedeviantdeveloper.com.